So we are here in South St. Louis at what's the name of the church?
Holy Trinity Serbian Orthodox Church.
Holy Trinity Serbian Orthodox Church with Father.
Ljubo Medikastis.
Yeah, the name rolls right off my tongue.
That's right. That's right. Father's good.
Yeah. So how old is this church? When was it established?
The congregation was founded in 1909. Our first buildings, we had a three-story building. It was a couple miles from here, and because of the developments, they had to knock that down and they moved here. So this church was built in late 20s, and hall is from first portion of the hall is from 40s, and the second portion of the food line is from late 80s.
So Serbs has been here a long time in St. Louis.
Yes, there were since in late 1800s they started coming here, and then in 1909 they finally there was a large community. They set together to say we need a place of worship, we need a place of social gathering. We can sit together and kind of keep our culture and whatnot. They used to have at that time when they had this first building, they paid not just the priest, but they also paid salary for the teachers who teach the Serbian language and stuff like that.
And of course, St. Louis is famous for very large Bosnian population. Started coming in the 1990s
After the war in Bosnia.
after the war in Bosnia. But there were Serbs and Croats coming as well at that time, correct?
So that's it's crazy how that worked. So we had areas where Serbs and Croatians fought, with areas where Serbs and Muslims fought against each other, but they didn't fight the Croatians, right? And toward the end of the war, Serbs and Croatians fought together against Muslims. In one area, it was Serbs and Muslims fought against another Muslim, so it was a total chaos. You have to be there and live there to kind of I would say understand it, but
I'm sure. Now, is there any interaction between those respective communities in St. Louis, like same restaurants or things?
Yes. So since Muslims, Bosnian Muslims, they have there's a large community here. They have I can't even say how many restaurants and shops, with ethnic food and stuff like that. I mean, I go and buy stuff there. No, I mean, we have, in my mind, so much I know, we have a great relationship. Though we speak the same language, we call it differently, but it's the same language essentially. Similar traditions and stuff like that. So, yeah, we have people here at the Serbian Festival. We have a good group of Muslims that came and support and stuff. Which, I mean, neighbors are neighbors, friends are friends, and life goes on. What are you gonna do?
How are we still getting Serbian immigration to St. Louis, or is it a trickle at this point?
No, that kind of stopped after the war in Bosnia. That kind of stopped, and I hope that stopped for good in the sense that we don't have any more wars in the Balkans region.
And what are the largest communities for Serbs in the United States?
Well, you have Milwaukee, you have Chicago, Atlanta has a good size, LA has a good size, Florida in general has. I mean, Canada's. Yeah, they have like every major city has large communities, Serbian communities there. I mean, thousands and thousands of people. Yeah.
I asked you, and he gave us a tour, and told us the basics of the Orthodox faith, and I remarked to him, you have this phenomenon now of Americans converting to Orthodoxy from Catholicism and other faiths.
Yes.
Matter of fact, I even have a friend of mine who was a Muslim convert. He's the last I heard he was in Siberia.
Oh.
He converted to Russian Orthodoxy and married a Siberian woman. I mean, that's some pretty. To voluntarily go to Siberia, that's some pretty deep stuff going on there.
It is. Yes.
So, what is it you think is attracting so many people to Orthodoxy?
I think the continuity in a sense of that we have least amount of add-ons to our faith. So we are the same from day one, the service-wise and stuff and understandings of till today. So we didn't really, when it comes to teachings and whatnot, we didn't really change. So people these are some answers that I got is that they were looking for something that's closest to original, and this is what they find
To the original church.
Original church,
Yeah.
and that's what they find in Orthodox Church.
And if you could summarize the theology of the Orthodox Church in just a couple of sentences, what would it be?
Well, then I would have to read you a creed.
Oh, yeah.
That is the best summary of what we believe when it comes to, relationship between the Holy Trinity, between the man and God, and you know, and the importance of the Virgin Mary in the midst of all that, and so at the end that we believe in one baptism, resurrection of all.
So all religions are having this problem in the United States. We're in this TikTok, social media, consumption culture where
Yeah.
particularly a lot of the younger generations are not into religion. There's the growth of what they call the nuns. Uh, is the Serbian church having that issue as well with the
Well,
younger
every
people?
church, like
Yeah,
you said yourself, has. But one thing I found out, I don't know if you noticed, there was a gentleman in the first pew in the same row where you guys
I
sat.
saw it. He had the jersey on.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
He's a Serbian. His grandparents, great grandparents, came here and helped build this church. So when he was, Sunday school age, he was there. Then he was gone for 15, 20 years. He got married. He's married to a Roman Catholic lady, but both of his kids are baptized here, and he's coming here now. When those young people, when they mature, so to say, when they done exploring and trying new things and whatnot, then when they get their own families, they want to give them something that they got when they were young, and that kind of brings them back to the home feeling, so to say.
How did Christianity come to Serbia, and in what years?
Uh, officially, we started with the Cyril Methodi brothers, Cyril Methodius. Christianity was there, but never took because Church of Rome, western part of the church, this church was still one back then. So this is late 8th, beginning of 9th century, where they would send priests, but they did everything in Latin, so never really took. So these two brothers, Cyril and Methodius, their mother was Slavic, so they knew the language. They came up with the letters, and they translated that service books and gospel into that language, and they came and started preaching, about Christ, and all the good things, and that took. And so that's how we got tied to the Constantinople rather to the Rome.
And for a significant period of now I might be wrong on this. The Ottoman Empire controlled some of that.
500 years.
500 years, right?
500 years. Yeah. So that was a turbulent time where there was the great battle of Kosovo in 1389, when both kings died. Ottoman Suleiman, I believe it was his name, and the Serbian Lazar. They both died in that battle. It was kind of now seen as a draw. West saw it as a win, victory of Serbia victory. But since Serbian army was exhausted at that battle, so Turks came in and took and ruled roughly about 500 years, and those were the dark times where we kept the faith. Good amount of people kept the faith, but a lot of them converted to Islam, because if you convert to Islam, then you don't have to pay the extra tax, extra this, extra that. Your firstborn son won't be taken to become at a young age to become a soldier for the Turks. Your wife won't be forced to sleep with the Muslim ruler on her first wedding night and stuff like that. So a lot of people did convert because to kind of make their life easier. And then finally, 1815, the second Serbian uprising, we managed to get rid of the Ottoman, grasp there. We got our independence back, and independent church and whatnot. So those were tough times, and that is now a phenomenon so back where I came from, you have Serbs, Muslims, and Croatians, right? Serbs, if you say you're Serb, you're Orthodox, right? Even if you're born in Serbia, if you're Catholic, they call you Croatian.
Yeah, yeah.
Muslims, they call themselves, when you say Bosnian, to me, that says Muslim.
Yeah, so it's a very ethnic. I know a guy here in St. Louis. He's Croatian.
Yeah.
He's been in the U.S. like 50 years, long time. He converted to Islam, I think, in the late 1970s in New York City.
Okay.
And he has fantastic relationships with the local Muslim community, except for he has some difficulty with the Bosnians because
Well, go ahead.
because
They're not real Muslims.
they don't view conversion.
Yeah.
They view religion as ethnic,
That's right.
as you're born with it. Yeah,
And a lot of them are more secular.
yeah,
They are Muslims. But I mean, I grew up. My best friend was a Muslim. Uh, we went to school together. My father, of course, grew up with the Muslims and stuff like that. We had a great relationship, and they really weren't religious. They were Muslims, but it's more about, like you said, to define your
your ethnicity. Yeah,
ethnicity. Even though, you'll find this maybe funny that until the 1972 or four, either one, I believe four rather than two, the Yugoslavian government, communist government, gave what we call now Bosnian Muslim, gave them ethnicity, because until then they were either Serbs or believed as a Muslims, or they were associated with Croatians that they have Islamic beliefs.
now didn't all religions in the Tito era and the communist era, I mean, I know it happened in other places in the Soviet Union where you basically had generations where the churches were closed, the mosques were closed, the synagogues were, and there were generations that didn't know a lot about their faiths. And
Yes, but yes and no. Catholic Church did not suffer one bit, and there's a million reasons that I don't want to go into politics there now. The Muslims and the Serbs were more under and Serbs mostly. Serbs, we have where my wife comes from, all the churches were either burned or closed, and if you say something religious, you could be prosecuted for, right? So the Orthodox Church was contained, so to say, the most. That didn't have any freedom.
Emma, Nick,
I have no questions.
no questions. Well, it's been wonderful talking to you.
All right.
We learned a lot in this short interview, and one thing I will say about the Serbs, Slobo. Remember Slobo? It was one of the goalkeeper for the St. Louis Steamers of my childhood. One of the most famous local athletes was
I remember him. I wasn't here.
was a Serbian guy. So they're representing in the field of athletics.
Yes. We have quite a few athletes
Yeah.
here in the United States.
All right, nice talking to you.
Same
Thanks.
here.